Anyways, welcome to one and all to another managerial experience talk. This is brought to you by School of Management Studies and IT Calicut. And today we have three speakers among us. We have Sri Prasanna Kumar Parhi, who is the Assistant Solicitor General of India. We have S. Jyotiranjan sir, who is an advocate and in the Odisha High Court. And we have Alok Kumar Kar sir. So I'll start off with the welcome note. I request Krishna Prakash to give the welcome note, and then we'll follow on. Krishna Prakash, you may please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Arpit. Thank you, Arpit. Hello, good evening, everyone. As we all know, today we are gathered here to, as part of our next talk on the topic of social media challenges on a legal perspective. Today we are in an era of wide use of social media for every purpose. So it is very important to know its challenges in the legal perspective. It is a very important topic. So my role is to welcome all of the students and faculties present here. So I welcome Sri Prasanna Kumar sir for his valuable words. He is Assistant Solicitor General of India from Odisha, and he was the advocate. He was the prosecutor in the Office of Advocate General Odisha, and also he was in the panel of many advocate of various government organizations. And also, I welcome Sri Jyotiranjan sir, advocate of Odisha High Court. Welcome, sir. And also, Alok Kumar sir, the Additional Secretary, School of Mass Education, Government of Odisha. Welcome, sir. And also, I welcome all the faculties who are present here and all my friends. I welcome all of you. And I welcome Jyotiranjan sir for delivering his speech for his valuable sessions. Welcome, Jyotiranjan sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, just a moment. Actually, there was a small change. Krishna Prakash, you can begin with the Prasanna sir as scheduled.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Jyotiranjan, sorry for that, because we thought that Prasanna sir wouldn't be arriving. We had some information, so that is why we asked Krishna Prakash to invite you. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. We'll start off with the Prasanna sir as sent in the schedule.
Okay. Prasanna sir, welcome.
Okay. Prasanna sir, are you available? Okay, I don't think he's available as of now. So, Jyotiranjan sir, you may start because I think he's not here as of now.
Should I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. The distinguished panelists, Prasanna Kumar Parhi sir, Alok sir, the distinguished members of the faculty of NIT Calicut, dear students, and all other participants who are enthusiasts or who have some interest in this topic. To begin with, I would like to invoke renowned business strategist, internet business strategist, Kim Gast, who said, conversations are happening whether you're there or not. This is so true about social media. It appears to be so much inevitable about the ever awake and perpetually active social media. Because there is no denying that God and social media seems to be that they do not sleep. But while the former is infallible, the latter, when unregulated, becomes an apparent threat and hovers almost beyond the reach of law enforcement agencies. Fact is, it can neither be eliminated nor can be absolutely regulated. It is no less than the albatross of the rime of the ancient mariner. As it enjoys constitutional immunity of the freedom of expression, speech and expression, and utilitarian indispensability of the contemporary times. The enormity of the trouble is as big as the social media itself. The global social media market size is estimated to be about 95 billion US dollars in 2021, and the market revenue includes revenues from sales from advertisement and other services offered on social media platforms. The Asia Pacific is the largest region of the global social media market, accounting for about 48% of the market in 2021. So the responsibility to regulate it is more on us. With the increase in use of internet accessible devices, the rise of internet uses has gone up. The data consumption is propelling. Social networking sites rely primarily on advertising revenues, and to some extent that is the reason why there are a lot more of indulgences in doing things or making steps without taking responsibility, without taking social responsibility, so to say, so as to achieve our own targets. Targets means those who use the social media having their own targets of their own accord. Let it be business, let it be popularity, let it be the praise for being famous. So the challenges of social media are manifold, right from revealing of confidential information to defamatory remarks, scurrilous campaigns, political trolling, and many more. This may sound trivial, but it can result in serious repercussions. The comments and statements in social media often tend to be ambiguous at certain point of time. Even though you have some innocent intent, your intent is innocent, but you may be subject to misunderstandings because of the economy of the words. Mostly we have to adhere that in social media. The other issues are obscenity and infringement of copyrights, hate speech, defamation, and this goes on and on. In recent times, we have also seen violences, mob lynchings, as a result of social media debates or social media discussions or news over social media, which are mostly unverified. We have also seen internet shutdowns in certain places because of disturbances, because of social unrest that has taken place due to social media use. So the two major players in social media are first the users and secondly the intermediaries or the social media platforms or aggregators. While the law is quite clear regarding the accountability of the users, the intermediaries often are left with impunity by virtue of Section 79 of the Information Technology Act 2000, which sort of provides safe harbor to intermediaries. It is understood that intermediary liability protection is a healthy business practice, since it is not possible to do a background and content screening of billions of constituents of the internet traffic, but a complete let-off without responsibility and accountability will be dangerous. Under the current legal regime, safe harbor is extended to intermediaries with respect to third parties, but not to the content fed and modified by the intermediaries themselves, and intermediaries are required to disable, remove unlawful content on being notified by appropriate government or its agencies. Infringement of an individual's right to privacy is a regular affair or a business in social media. But after the Justice K.S. Puttaswamy judgment in 2017, where right to privacy was declared to be intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty, as under Article 21 of the Constitution, the state's onus has increased manifold in devising apparatus to ensure no such brazen infringement of privacy rights of citizens take place in social media. So therefore, the difficulty lies in balancing the right to freedom of expression as conferred under Article 19(1) of the Constitution and imposing reasonable restrictions as under Article 19(2) for greater public interest and national security while regulating social media transactions. Previously, we relied a lot on Section 66A of IT Act in sort of regulating offensive and spurious news contents communications, but it has unfortunately failed the taste of constitutionality before the Supreme Court in the Shreya Singhal versus Union of India case, owing to its draconian language and its arbitrary and unreasonable application by law enforcement agencies. And this was after the Palghar case, where 2 girls were arrested for their comments on social media following the death of Shiva Sena chief, late Bal Thackeray. However, Section 69A of the IT Act gives considerable powers to the state to direct any intermediary to block public access of objectionable information or content in national interest, or to avoid breach of national security or religious or social harmony, or to avoid occurrence of any crime. So, the thorny part of the entire issue is the global presence of the internet and social media, which makes it difficult to control, regulate, and fix accountability for the material uploaded from abroad and viewed in India, and the absence of physical presence of the intermediaries in India. On July 26, 2018, while speaking on a calling attention motion discussion in Parliament on rising incidents of violence and lynching in the country due to misuse of social media platforms, the then IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad had unveiled the government's proposal to amend the provisions of Section 79 of the IT Act. And after that, we have also seen a lot of efforts being made by the government to kind of regulate and check social media abuses. So where there is a apprehension of or there is an actual attempt to destabilize social order, national security, or to incite crime or violence, etc. But there are also concerns raised by activists and the UN Special Rapporteur David Kaye's report on promotion and protection of right to freedom of opinion and expression. The report says that various world governments have been attempting to promote proxy social media censorship via intermediaries, especially in the pretext of containing hate speeches. So the jurisprudence behind freedom of speech and expression is so robust that it at times has taken toll of justice itself, which requires a reasonable molding and restriction to harmoniously accommodate various social interests, especially on social media platform. So at one hand, we have a responsibility to protect the right to freedom of speech and expression, and on the other hand, we have this vital responsibility of not abusing that right. So the balance somewhere needs to be reasonable in our use or uses of social media. Here at one hand, we have one thing at stake, that is how to protect the constitutional framework within which our rights of freedom of speech and expression exist, which is also very important for the harmonious running of the democracy. At the other hand, we have also to take care that these rights are not abused by the usage of social media so as to threaten the national security or social order or the way of our life, that the principles in which we live, the constitutional morality which is ingrained within us. We at times, due to our extra indulgences in social media, without thinking of our own responsibility that we have towards society, do step up the threshold, the line, which is very much elemental for us for running the democracy with respect to our rights and social order at the same time. So I think Prasanna sir has come. So let us hand it over to him.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that session, sir.
Namaskar, everybody.
Yes. Good evening. Namaskar, sir. Welcome to our talk, sir. On behalf of School of Management Studies and IIT Calicut, I welcome you once again. And you may please take over, sir. If Jyoti Ranjan, sir, if you're done, then Prasanna sir, you may please continue.
No, let it complete.
Yeah.
Break. Yes.
Okay,
Nicely delivering. Let the complete.
Okay, sir.
I have already touched my points. Okay, I'm open for.
So we'll have the question and answer session in the end after everyone finishes. So
Yeah.
if you have anything, like if you have more material or more data to share, you may please go ahead with that.
There is a national security part. I have with me my friend Nilopal.
Yes,
He will be coming in. He will be explaining on national security part. He expertise in that.
Yes. I've come to know about him from Himanshu just a few moments ago.
Right,
so
right.
even he will be getting like his.
I have touched the the larger domain within which we are going to take the deliberation ahead.
Yeah, he'll be talking about the impact of social media on national security. That's
exactly.
Yes, sir. I've come to know about that.
Any more, I'll be saying I'll be just stretching it on and on. So
okay,
let Prasanna sir start.
Okay, sir. So Prasanna sir, you may please take over, sir.
Should I start now?
Yes, sir. You may.
Jai Jagannath. I express my gratitude to the organizers. Those who have chosen a subject. It is a very sensitive, touchy, and a very important subject nowadays. So I can say all of you have exercised yourself, interacted yourself, and deeply you analyze yourself to choose a subject like challenges before the social media, which is a very catchy subject before the international level, not in our country. Recently, there are a lot of judgments are come up. Recently, ex-law and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has given many statements. As a professional before a minister, is a very senior advocate, and he has delivered many things. Recently, we are getting a very good minister in IT, who is also background of IIT, in your faculty, and now he is joined in IT minister. But technically, is that the subject we have chosen nowadays, technical part is one part and legal part is another part. Mixed together, you are coming to a conclusion is another part. Go on simultaneously with a particular subject is very difficult. So they from Bar Council source we have a meeting and we came to know that IIT Kharagpur is going to introduce a MS Law courses after BTech or 5 years law course with engineering with law, with a many new technology, new arts are come up. It is creating confusion how the engineering people are now. Now we understand how related to each other with engineering and law itself. Different subjects are come up now, out of which the Information Technology Act and the social media is taken a very major role in respect to the people at large. Those have involved themselves from 2 years kid to 100 years old men, and all have a mobile phone, a social media systems, and they're interacting each other in all respects. We cannot say, is my personal opinion be, the social media is destroying the society or whatever comments are coming. I didn't agree with this. Every research, every thought have a own philosophy. So I am coming to the subject in this regard. We have reached a time when information technology or IT has become a inseparable part of our lives. It has made our lives significantly similar and faster and connected the entire world under the single switch. The platform of social media has been a range in recent times. The biggest gift humankind has received from the scientific evolution is information technology, which has led to the fast forward mode by introducing unprecedented speed in the information and communication via social media. It had an impact on political dynamics and the global scale of enabling users to express themselves publicly in ways of perversely. It is a strange of affairs. On my research, it was came to know that in India, number of mobile users are reached to 760 millions in 2021. Within the number of smartphone users worldwide forecasted to exceed to 3.8 billion users in 2021. Due to China's rapid growth, the country has become a distant leader in the smartphone market, leaving the US, which previously held the top position, far behind. The internet users, India's internet users expected to register double-digit growth to reach 627 million in 2019. Driven by the rapid internet growth in rural areas, markets research agency Kantar IMRV said there were 448 million social media users in India in 2021. The number of social media users in India increased by 78 millions, that is plus 21%, between 2020 and 2020-21. The number of social media users in India was equivalent to 32.3% of the total population in the January 2021. There are 1.10 billion mobile connections in India in January 2021. The number of mobile connections in India increased by 23 million, that is plus 2.1% between January 20 to 2021. The number of mobile connections in India January 2021 was equivalent to 79% of the total population. So in this juncture, the social media has taken a major role. We can say the social media, as you know, it today is not just a mere platform for connecting with friends. It's helping in marketing, promotion, use and spread messages. It is spread true propaganda and fake propaganda also. That's why the cyber law have a major role. Cyber law in India were modified again in 2021 on February 2015. Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology of India notified the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rule 2021, what my current friend Mr. Jyoti delivered all these things before some. Following the notification, there were certain guidelines and compliances issued for various popular social media platforms such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter, or others. The new rules make them even unable to make the communication likes available to the third party in case asked for any proceedings. According to Rule 4.1 of the significant social media intermediary, that is a social media intermediary having more than 5 million registered users in India, within 3 months from the date of notification of the threshold thereof, has to establish 3-tier system of the observing due diligence, comprising of the chief compliance officer, who shall be responsible for ensuring compliance with the act and rules made thereunder, and shall be liable any proceedings relating to any relevant third-party information, data, or communication, like made available or hosted by that intermediary, where he fails to ensure that such intermediary observes due diligence while discharging its duties under the Act and rules made thereunder. A nodal conduct mentioned that it 24 and 7 coordination with law enforce agencies, the officers to ensure compliance to their order or requisition made accordance with the provisions of law or rules made thereunder, and the resident grievances officer all residing in India. That was differing nowadays. You know, they are not accepting blindly what session or what amendment came into force by the government nowadays. It also make platform like WhatsApp, which ensure end-to-end encryption of the identified sources message under the judicial warrant. According to Rule 2, Subclause 2A, significant social media intermediate providing services preliminary in the nature of messages such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Telegram, etc. shall enable to identify of the first organizer, first originator of the information on its computer sources as may be required by the judicial order passed by the competent court of authority. those are the legal fraternity or on the social media, you must have known. As regard to the WhatsApp complaint, in lieu of the complaints on the WhatsApp field of lawsuit against the government of India in the Delhi High Court, contesting mainly rules 4 sub-clause 2 of the IT Act, IT rules 2021, by relying the Supreme Court's judgment in the case of Justice case Pottaswamy versus Union of India. In that case, a spokesperson of the WhatsApp stated that requiring messages up to trace chats in the equivalent of asking us to keep a fingerprint of every single messages sent on WhatsApp, which would break end-to-end encryption of and fundamentally undermines people's right to privacy. The privacy recently, WhatsApp uploaded a FAQ passage on its website with a very delicate post about what traceable by why does WhatsApp of the opposite. These things are going on. We cannot stand on the way what WhatsApp says, what any other agency says. We cannot restrain, we cannot block neither the technical experts nor the legal experts. But because the way they are developed, the way they are spread off, the way they are enter the people at large. I am telling you about the 2 years child to 100 years old people. It is not easy on the part of the administration or the law to control everything overnight. That's why, thinking all the aspects, the government of India came with a force that information technology guidelines for intermediaries and digital media ethics code rule 2021. First Minister Jyotish stated before something like that. In that guideline, I appreciate one thing. For save our society, to control our sanskar, to control our family, society, you can say ourselves. There is in chapter 3, they have given a category specific guidelines. What it is and how it is applicable to others. In that guideline, they have provide the specific approach that the applicable entity world take for a various categories of rating from U to A. This part should be read together with part 1, part 2 and part 3 itself, containing the general guidelines of special classification consideration. U universal, suitable for all. I am not going through deeply. You all know this. I am going to very relevant persons. In that rules, you see the US 7 plus. A boy who is using the mobile on the craze or all the sympathy or all the our weakness, we are providing our mobile to our kids, our children. Nowadays, in COVID situation, parents are forced to hand over the smartphones to their children or laptop to their children. There is no option because classes are going on. Others are reading. My kid cannot read. He will be backward. So we are with a penny, we are providing everything to my children. But simultaneously, we have to provide the time with your kid, forgetting about law, consisting to the social media systems. The process of social media must be acted upon according to the choice of the parents, according to the guardians or the master teachers, whoever may be. That was not being controlled. So, The 7+, that was a guideline is given. Age of 7+ means 7 years old. Then 13 years plus, suitable for 13 years and over, above. Then this gives 16, suitable for 16 to 16 years and over. Within 16 to 18 years, suitable only for 18 years. That was no one younger than 18 years see a category film. You know what is A category? I know what is A category. So you should not explain. So in that part, it is destroying the society like anything. What social media is giving benefits to us, by this process, they are deteriorating our society, they are deteriorating our families, they are deteriorating the improvement of the country like anything. Many genius students are destroyed their lives. They are spoiled their lives like anything because of this reason only. Because it is beyond their control. And nobody is there to control him in this regard. There no teachers are there to guide him in this regard. There is no law in this regard. So taking advantage of the same, these criminals are taking advantage. Their mental, you can say, whoever they, this mental disorder persons, we can say like this. They are also taking the advantage a lot. Suppose in social media, wrongly, rightly, your sister is passing a message to somebody else, wrongly delivered to some other boyfriends. Taking advantage of the same, is creating such a nuisance by way of social media. It's creating a havoc. I am placing very small thing. Obscenity. I am coming to straight away. I am coming to the word very obscenity. The sexual expressions which constitute obscenity or pornography are major concern by the government in both the offline and online world. Offline and offline world, we are all directly or indirectly, we are using in each and every moment, in each and every stage, in all respect. The social media in particular, with its speedy circulation of obscene and pornographic materials, has made regulation more challenging. Various social media websites like YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, are loaded with these materials, causing public authorities to work more hard to stop this. The difficulty in regulation was well evident when the government of India failed to counter before the Supreme Court, showing its inability to prevent pornographic and obscene materials on the internet and social media pages. This government is helpless before the judiciary. There is no such law. Except IT Act. There is no such law with us. And that act, this guidelines, what issued by the government of India, what I am saying about chapter 3, that is correlated to this incidents. Since there is no specific provision in any statute that directly deals with the pornography, it has been brought within the purview of section 292 subclause 2, which deals with the obscenity in the Indian Penal Code 1960. Indian Penal Code. This section imposed criminal liability for sale, distribution, etc. or obscene materials. Although Indian law does not make watching pornography illegal, but sharing or disseminating obscene content has been made punishable under section 67 of the Information Technology Act. The Act provides subclause 3, section subclause 3. The Act provides the penalty of imprisonment for up to 3 years for publishing or transmitting obscene content. There are stricter rules against child pornography. These things are come in force when the IT Act came into force. It does not mean that the IPC is helpless or Indian Penal Code is helpless, we cannot take any action. But the special statute should be enacted in this context to protect the illegal activity of social media. We cannot say that the social media is destroying ourselves or anything in this regard. So, the impact of obscenity laws in India can be seen in unfettered discretion exercised by the government of India to ban films, books, and other materials in the pretext of immoral or objectionable content in the offline world. The approach of the government in dealing with the obscene contents on the internet cannot be equated with the offline world. The transactional chapter of the internet provides limited scope and the jurisdiction to government authorities in regulation. In this situation, it is very difficult on the part of the lawmakers, of the judiciary, to act it upon themselves with a framework. I am giving an example. A judicial officer from the ground level, you can go to the High Court level, Supreme Court level. They will binding with the statute. Nobody will go beyond the statute. The enactment of law made by the parliament, they are thinking something in different way, but it's difficult on the part of the enacted to the legislator to enact a act and rules by imposing everything on very stringent manner. Because you can say it is fortunate or unfortunate. Many peoples, those have spent hours before the parliament, they are ignored about law. All are not knowing persons, even though they are lawmakers. Technicalities of law, even though a law graduate, it is difficult on the part to understand the law about technical part is concerned. What is the impact? Suppose somebody has given one obscene message to another. Which act he will acted upon? To whom he will complain? How it will be investigated? What sort of section will be imposed to him? What is his punishment? Whether the concerned judicial officer has power to act upon against him or not? The police has power to arrest him or not? All things are come up. So the Constitution of India, in other way, the Constitution of India under Article 19, we know everybody that it says about the freedom of speech and expression guaranteed to all citizens, and state cannot curb them by making laws against them, but these freedom are under the ambit of some reasonable restriction mentioned in Article 16 subclause 2 of the Constitution. So any person can read, write, comment or any issue, but this does not come under the reasonable restrictions which the state improves the interest of citizens and the country as well. The Information Technology Act, Section 66A of the 66 is forced completely on the social media contents and regulates it. Media contents and regulates it. That means the IT Act is acted upon, has been acted upon according to the statutory provision of law, which other way impact the Article 19. It prohibits any offensive video, audio, or text message or any recorded content to be transmitted. This also prohibits the information of any electric mail which is known to be false but sent with the purpose of causing the any annoyance, injury, or insulting the others. This is done with the criminal intention and the spreading of hatred among the people. It may also mislead the persons. But in 2015, the landmark judgment of Shira Singhal, what my learned friend has enlightened before some hours, the Supreme Court struck down the Section 66A of the IT Act and upheld the right of free speech in the recent times. So now we will analyze, even though Act has been enacted and the apex court found that apparently the enactment is illegal and same is struck down. Can you say now, in this August occasion, that the enactment was wrong and the order passed by the Supreme Court should be accepted blindly and will allow everybody freely to go ahead for pornography or any other social media? By which the society will be intact. What way we are thinking ourselves in this regard? The Indian Penal Code, any persons violative of the above law should be dealt with the provisions of Indian Penal Code like 295A, intentionally insulting religious or religion or religious beliefs, Section 153A, promoting enmity between groups on the ground of religion. Whereas it is Section 499. Definition, Section 505. Statement conducting the public mischief, Section 509. Insulting the modesty of women, Section 50 and Section 506 of criminal intimidation, and Section 124A. Hence, it is the main law to protect the person from the social media abuse in Section 499 and Section 500. It states that any person published by defamatory statement, whether oral or write, the intention to harm the chapter is punishable with these laws. The Indecent Representation of the Women Prohibition Act 1998, the Section 3 and 4 of this Act protect the women from indulging the act of pornography and also punish the people from circulating the obscene materials. Section 292, 293 of Indian Penal Code also gave punishment in obscenity, including the pornography. In this context, I desire to enlighten you through the others gathering and the persons who have connected with this seminar that the different acts are in force as regard to protection or acted ourselves as regard to the day-to-day functionaries of utilization of the social media is concerned. But my view is this: the social media has taken a very major role to connect the world. Social media has taken a very important role to enlighten the people, educate the people, as well as to develop the knowledge about the world in different aspects. What we have not gathered reading the books, nowadays we are gathering the knowledge through social media. Many things. But simultaneously, we have to look into the aspects which is very important before us, that what is the analytical thought, what we have added after your subject, challenges before social media you have taken, thereafter you have added the analysis thought. That means I welcome all of you that you are don't want to discuss all these things and end this after you discuss them. Even the process of analysis is most welcome. It will educate ourselves in all aspects by which we can enlighten our elders, we can educate our associates, our juniors, our children's. In this process, by way of this platform, and it will be helpful for us in all together. By this conversation, by this celebration, I'm ending my speech. And whatever mistake I have done, I may be excused, because entire day I am in court, because my Chief Justice hold a special court about the Chilika issue, environmental and coastal belt issue. It was constituted bench. I thought that it will close before lunch, but again it was continued. So I am delayed. That's why I am apologize before you that I have not connect in time. So I may be excused. I am thankful to all who have connected with us, and it is a great privilege of mine that I include myself with some important persons, those who have organized these webinars, and I express my gratitude to all. Jai Jagannath, Mande Utkal Janani.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that ocean of knowledge. So we'll move on to the next speaker. I invite Sri Alok Kumar Kar sir to address this particular session. Alok sir, are you available?
Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Good evening, friends. Last two speakers, they have to put and just cover everything on social media, uses, abuses. They have also legally interpreted the effects and defects of the system. Just think of a situation. Someday you lose your mobile phone on the way. What you are losing? Is it the cost of the mobile that cost around something 30,000-40,000? No. You are losing a phone book which is covering about 1,000 or 2,000 persons' names. If I provide you the names, you are also not happy with the system, because you also lose so many data, and all these data have come to you through social media and through internet operation. Whether you are interested, not interested, there shall be messages and there shall be news in the item. But these news which are covered these media, and having some online base or internet. Today we call this as social media. There will be creator. So many persons will come on the way, they will receive it, and they may develop it, and it has so many impacts. And it has gone to that level with youth now that a new symptom and new syndrome has come, that Facebook addiction syndrome, or something like internet addiction syndrome. But that is a bad end we are going to see now. When the persons are totally addicted on this, we have to think it. Suppose if you go on the misuse of the social media, the criminal can do it, can convert the message, pass on this message that a man is going with money or some ornament, you can follow, you can avail. At the same time, this social media can be used by the police in catching the criminal. And in our state, we have seen in recent past so many hardened issues, so many victims, 100% with bigger scale the crimes, and these have been caught, and criminals are punished by way of social media. But these are not the issues. The entire census system in the country, entire economic system, the budgetary allotment, everything is just based on social media. Think of disaster. Our state is a very disaster-prone state, and the entire disaster operation is now managed by the government. And as a user, government is the most important user of the social media. It has become, and we have also become very successful in managing the disaster in these days. We think of weather forecast. We have our radar, and our radar can just tell in 1 hour you are going to have because a very severe hailstorm, so people can be cautioned for that. Think of law and order situation. You can use it in Kashmir and other areas, and government can have so many instructions to the people not to venture outside or to keep away from the hooligans and criminals also. But if you think now our country is passing through a corona phase, our country in our state, they have got some good name in corona management. You will be very happy that apart from the medical personnel and the corona workers, the social media is the most important agent. Social media is the most important thing that has made the corona management successful in making the patient to the hospital, in tracing the patient, in dead body management, giving medicine, and controlling everything. And at this context, at the same time, the misuse of social media has become the bigger challenge in front of us. Since the topic is on challenge, I can classify the challenge of social media in two aspects: ethical and the legal. What Parisar was telling, pornography, sexual harassments, these are the most important ethical hazards of social media, which we can take up in a different way. And the effects on there are also legal misuse of social media. They come to bank management, and there are other fraud cases. It's a fact that our country did not have sufficient enactments to face such cases. Of course, from 1980s, we had our Indian Penal Code, but all the crimes, though enacted there, these are not possible for prosecution or punishing the criminals, those who are doing such crimes. Thinking our requirement, we have developed some special laws like Dowry Prohibition Act, Prevention of Corruption Act, and similarly now we have our IT Act. And probably with some need-based amendments in that, we shall have our best IT Act in the country. And social media also, another thing you can just to mark, social media is the media that increases our patriotism in a way. Think of our javelin winner in the Olympics. The manner we all Indians were behind him. It's all due to social media. But everybody has the right to tell, right to express, right to have the feeling. It's guaranteed by the Constitution. At the same time, my right as a victim is also guaranteed to my human rights. So, The challenge is the social media and the use misuse of the social media stands in between that my constitutional rights and some others human rights. And I don't think there will be a time will come when we'll be out of social media and we'll run our life. It is not possible. All the government system are now run through WhatsApp. So we have to accept this. We have to find our way, and we have to find the ways how to challenge the challenges of the social media. And I think I don't have anything more to tell. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok sir, for those short and simple and knowledgeable words. So today we have another speaker, as Jyoti Ranjan sir mentioned previously. We have Mr. Nilopal Jha. He's currently working as an analyst in the Department of Aerospace and Defense. And in extension to what Jyoti Ranjan sir was explaining us initially, Nilopal Jha sir would be explaining about the impact of social media on national defense. So, Nilopal sir, are you available?
Yeah, Arpit, I am available. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah.
You may please continue, sir.
Sure. So, hello, good evening, everyone. Myself, Nilopal Ojha, and I am been working in aerospace and defense domain since past close to 7 years now, and been working in this domain, aerospace and defense. It is a point. It's a specific domain wherein the information which is shared is very sensitive, whether it's from the point of technology or whether it's from the point of any other inputs, because making a complete study around a topic which is related to the national security, whether it's from the point of the number of equipments they are having, or any confidential information, which is something which we need to keep an eye on. So, as many of the other speakers have mentioned, the role of social media regarding the security, whether it's personal or national. So in 2018 as well, there has been many instances wherein the Indian armed forces have been asked to not use social media on a frequent basis, because it might compromise some of the information which is not to be shared on a global platform wherein everybody can access. As earlier mentioned, like more than 80% of the population in India itself are having access to a smartphone now. So currently there has been many instances, or there has been many steps taken by the government as well as other agencies to convey how protectively we can utilize those platforms. Again, the social media platforms can be used for both the reasons, whether it's a positive or a negative situation. So everything as have a positive and negative side both. So regarding those information which are being shared through whether on a closed media or on a social media, so it has to be there are certain guidelines that everybody needs to follow. Taking the example for my service area, wherein we prepare a report on a particular topic, and then it is presented on a global level. So there are certain implications that we need to follow. We need to see what kind of information we are conveying on the global platform. So, as earlier mentioned as well by other speakers, we need to have a better clarity, or the opinion that we are putting forward on the social media that can certainly impact the overall scene and overall scenario as well. So any specific information or any opinion that we are sharing, it should not be biased or influenced. So those kind of information, we as being a researcher or being a person dealing in such kind of environment wherein national security is on the topmost agenda for the defense department. So there has to be an unbiased opinion, taking all the factors that are there influencing those outcome of any scenario, whether it's from the point of any uh, programs that are being conducted, or any specific let's say if there is a particular program that is going on regarding something which is related to the national security, or any technological development that can be of use, or the current the Indochina scenario that has been there currently. So having those kind of information captured and providing an unbiased opinion is something which should be there, and the information related to that which most of the people are sharing on, whether it's social media, so whether it's LinkedIn as well. Like most of the professional who are there in the industry are using LinkedIn as a platform of sharing information. So in that platform as well, whether it's a Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's the LinkedIn, any information which has been conveyed, it should have a basis. It should not be something which we have heard and then we are sharing it forward. There are certain rules and regulations that needs to be followed, because there are many instances wherein people have shared wrong information on social media and they have been penalized, whether monetary or something regarding those imprisonments as well. So there are certain rules and regulations wherein we need to be in check or in line with sharing those kind of information on the social media. Because again, when somebody is putting forward his opinion on the social media, it is being heard and seen by most of the people. As I mentioned earlier as well, Indian government as well as army are teaching their personals to how smartly they can operate the social media, as they cannot stop somebody from using the social media platform or using a smartphone, but how smartly they can utilize without sharing their personal information, their locations, those kind of information they need to be aware of, and they have been educated to not disclose those kind of information, as that can be used against them. So again, while talking about this complete scenario around the social media, the challenges that are being faced, and the from the point of national security, those are some of the points that are being checked, and rules and regulation are being made around those, so that we are safe, and while putting forward our opinions as well, that are not creating any havoc, or not creating a scenario wherein misconception are being made, because there are been many instances wherein certain opinions have created a false scenario around a particular topic. So that is something which government is being taking care of, and we as an individual should also have keeping those things in mind and providing the opinion on the social media. So thank you so much, everyone, and over to you, Arpit.
Sure. Thank you, Nilupal sir, and I'm sorry to mispronounce your name previously.
No issues.
Okay, sir. So thank you once again, Nilupal sir, and all the other speakers. So if no other speaker has any other point to add, if you have any point to add, you may please do it, sir. Otherwise, we'll be starting our question and answer session.
I would like to add on a little bit.
Sure,
That,
sure.
Little bit just. I've already covered whatever I was supposed to say.
Okay.
You know that today is a special day. We are on now approaching Independence Day tomorrow. Today is 14th of August. So I am to add on a little bit that this independence that we have got is hard earned, and it has got translated into all those rights that we have in our constitution, those fundamental rights, be it freedom of speech, of expression, whatever. We never used to have those rights in the British India. We have it today. So with those rights comes a huge amount of responsibility on us. Whatever challenges we are discussing about social media today, be it your that hate speech, political trolling, be it your hate speech, be it your political trolling, be it your defamation issues, and then be it your pornography, obscenity, violation of copyright, everything. These challenges are completely made by us. We have made those challenges to stand up, because we as a society have somewhere got confounded as to the distinction between the right and restrain, where we should restrain ourselves from exercising our right. Why should we go to Article 19 Clause 2 and think of a regime that would follow from Article 19 Clause 2, legal regime that would follow from Article 19 Clause 2 to put on reasonable restrictions? Why not we restrain ourselves in a manner which will not only ensure social harmony but also social order? There's no point in getting popularity or being famous by putting something which is objectionable. So taking it as a fodder for thought in this Independence Day eve, I think we can go on further. Okay, so the legal issues are chattered. They're already chattered. We have already deliberated. The Supreme Court has spoken voluminously about them. We everywhere in the social media, everywhere in our private life, it's a part of the national discourse. In fact, the global discourse, that how and where we should check ourselves, or how and where the social media usage should be restrained or regulated. The fact is, as I said before, social media is indeed an albatross, and you will be making it more stronger, more ferocious by your own misdemeanors. Okay, so you should be open to Q&A or as desired.
Sure, sir. Thank you once again. I request all the available students and participants to ask their questions. It is open to all. Okay. Is there no one with any sort of questions to any speaker?
Arpit, may I?
Sure, sir. Sure. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, all. This is not specifically to any one of you, just a comment. A few months back, in fact, the court, I think High Court or Supreme Court, I don't know, commented that, if you do not agree to WhatsApp updated privacy rules, you can choose not to go for WhatsApp. So is that a right thing? Isn't it my right to be with WhatsApp and disagree with WhatsApp? Is it right to completely avoid using a particular social media just because I don't agree to their terms? So how far can the legal arm can protect me as a citizen from this something which encroaches my privacy? Any comments on that?
Yes.
Should I?
Yes, Jyoti. You just share him.
Thank you. if I'm right in what Siddhit sir told, that if you are not agreeing to the policy of WhatsApp, as he told that the court had the view that if you are not agreeing to a particular social media platform, you choose not to use it. So, as a matter of fact, and as a matter of law, courts can only intervene if there is a gross violation of any particular law or fundamental rights, or the right to privacy as determined in the as held by the Supreme Court in the Puttaswamy case, or any of the fundamental rights. Simply because you will not be agreeing to a particular policy that a particular social media company or social media platform brings in, the courts cannot actually intervene to a greater extent. There are limitations to that. So using or not using it is definitely our choice. It is a part of our own right, whether to use it or not use it. There are other avenues also, other platforms also through which we can communicate or interact. Neither they are state sponsored, that will have the state or the agencies of law or the law enforcement agencies will intervene until and unless there is a gross violation that is violating certain aspect of certain provision of law or the direction of the court or the fundamental rights of the citizens. The courts can only protect the fundamental rights of the citizen when they are in clear violation of those rights under Article 32 of the Constitution of India and High Courts under Article 226 of the Constitution of India.
Right. So because WhatsApp and such social media are free in nature, so I can't approach the consumer court either.
No.
Is it? Right. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Well.
Thank you for that. Anyone else has any sort of question?
Excuse me. I
Yes,
have a question. I think any of the speakers can answer. Sirs, I would just like to know your thoughts regarding what is the kind of awareness that the current generation has regarding the legal aspect of the usage of social media. Do you think that awareness is less? Does it need to improve, or is it sufficient whatever we have now?
Yes, Subhasini, are you a student of law?
No, sir, I'm a second-year student of MBA.
Very nice. Being an educated girl, you must treat the what I have stated, that information technology guidelines. In that guideline, chapter 3, categorize everything. You just download from the site and go through it. It is very crystal clear. That guideline guide every guys who may be a kid, who may be a older. And you are put a very pertinent question in this regard. Nowadays, everyone must know what I am using, what is my limitation, what extent I can use. It's very important. Ignorance of law cannot be excused. It is not that the lawyer can know the law, other will not know law. I don't know law, that's why I commit murder. I don't know law, that's why I commit rape. It is a sense of thought. Like this. Knowing the law, knowing the system, knowing the guideline in social media is also a paramount consideration of everybody. So, these guidelines guide part 1, part 2, part 3 like this. And different things have been discussed. I am not advising you go through entirely and go through all these things. Only chapter 3, some clauses, what I have read, you just go through it. For less than 7 years kid, up to what extent he can use the social media. Then up to age of 13 years, then at age of 16 years, then age of 18 years, then 18 years above. It was categorized. That categorization is clarified that what is the rule, what is the extent of use, whoever the switch, whatever side you have gone, but what is your limitation? That's why the WhatsApp, all those people have feared themselves. Suppose that this will be imposed, then their subscribe will reduce. The kids cannot use. Their user queue will lesser. Like this, they are afraid. But it is not a fact. Facts remain that you can take the example of China. They are not allowing anybody to go on any media. They didn't allow anybody to use any social media. They are selling, but they are not but tough. They're pass on everything to us, but they restricted themselves what to use, what not to use. Like this. Anything more?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your words.
Okay. Thank you, Rekha, for the question, and thank you, sir, for answering it. I have one more student, Jawar Babu. Jawar, if you have any question, you may please ask.
No, Arpit, nothing from this. Actually, it has been only raised my hand.
Okay. So
Yeah, sorry for that.
I thought you raised your hand, so.
Yeah, that's only I raised my hand. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else? If anyone else has any question?
Hi, Arpit. I have a question.
Yes, Christy, please.
Yeah. So the question is open for all the three guests. Sir, as the government had issued social media rules earlier this March or May, I think. So they were saying that it will be the responsibility of the intermediary, like the Facebook or WhatsApp, to remove the messages which is coming from. Is it an unlawful message or something? So that word is not actually clarified, right? So if we are giving such rules, actually, are we Are we infringing the right to public speech or right to speech of a person? As it is a fundamental right? So what's the opinion on that? Like if you are making social media rules on one side, like we are saying to prevent the fake news, the government can also use it to counter who all will talk against the government, right?
Jyoti.
Okay. Thank you. So the question is very specific. No, I have already dealt it with in my presentation.
Yes, can you repeat it?
Yes, sir. So section 79 of the, I think, if I'm not wrong, section 79 of the IT Act, it protects and protects the interest of the intermediaries and provides them a safe harbor. No, in terms of supposing Facebook or Twitter, whatever, you go and put on something there, that intermediary will not be responsible for it. That is the law. But now with the rules, so the information technology rules that have come up, the government may ask those intermediaries to remove those things or delete those things, whatever. Point is, as I have told earlier also, I am putting in a different way, that we are the trustees of our own freedom. The government is not the trustee of our freedom. We are the trustee of our freedom. So it is a right to protect our freedom. At the same time, understand the restraints that we have. Laws come or laws are formulated only when there is a requirement to regulate. Why regulate? Why not self-regulate? So the major point is, the crux lies in unregulated social behavior of the social media users. And I think asking the intermediaries and not putting the citizens or the citizens' right at stake, or taking in some coercive measure, I think it is a more welcome step than no. See, at least it's the policy of the government to not to hold these citizens unnecessarily accountable or put them into some kind of penal restrictions. Rather, ask the intermediaries to remove those contents. I think, yes, there has to be a filter. There should be a mechanism through which we can hold a content to be inappropriate. Everything that we say against the government, if we consider that a sedition or is inappropriate, every opinion that we hold is a sedition or inappropriate or a constructive criticism, there should be here comes the point, there should be a distinction between constructive criticism and actually doing something which is antisocial, obscene, or against the law of the land. That distinction should be drawn. But I don't think as a policy of law, it is wrong to ask the intermediaries to remove the contents which are unlawful or objectionable, whatever. I don't have a problem with the policy. I just have an issue with the thing, with the idea that it should not be too much generalized. There should be the determiners or points to determine that which statement should be allowed to pass the muster and which statement should not be asked to pass the muster. A threshold should be there. Crossing it is objectionable and staying beyond it. And I think with a great liberty, we can operate that domain. We can determine that threshold.
That must be check and balance.
Yes, right.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Christy. And thank you once again, sir, for answering. Anyone else? Okay.
I thought the participants are aware about the regulations and the statute. Somehow they have entered into. It is most welcome. It's good. Their question shows that they enter into with some extent and they're also digesting, just like a law students. Very good, very good.
Yes, sir. It's important to know all the managerial perspectives and
exactly.
Yes. So moving on, sir, if nobody has any other questions, we will move on to the vote of thanks. So I invite Rekha Subhashini to give the vote of thanks to our respective speakers. Rekha?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Arpit. So now that the session is approaching towards the end, I, on the behalf of entire SOMS fraternity, would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the keynote speakers of our first managerial expertise talk of this academic year. So the session was very enlightening and informative, and we were able to get deep insights on the legal aspect of the social media challenges. We're grateful that we had all of you joining us today. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the team behind arranging this amazing session. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you to all speakers and all the participants. Please stay safe and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.